This is Doug Upstone for Vegas Pro Insiders Daily, and Happy New Year! I'm back. It's January. 2018. Got a lot of wonderful things that will be occurring this year, and I hope they're occurring for you as well. Excited to be back. When I was here a week ago, you probably made mention of and probably noticed that a little under the weather at the time. Well, the next day or that evening, I went way under the weather and spent a lot of time sitting and hugging in the bathroom, if you know what I mean. So it wasn't great, but fortunately got it cleared up before the start of the new year, so that was good. But yeah, haven't been around. And then the worst part, okay. So I think we went 3-2 in our last picks to raise our record to 50-37. I think it is 50-37-2. But if I could have done the line moves article, I would have killed it, because where those start at is actually they're formulated for some of the football newsletters that I write for, and altogether I ended up going 12-2 in all those games, and I wish I could have shared that with you. It would have been fun, but you know, sometimes things just happen, and that's the way it goes. Speaking of the way it goes, becoming a VPID member certainly has been quite profitable of late. Sean Higgs, for example. Sean, in the last 60 days at sports capping, he's number 2. And in the NFL this season, he's number 2. So that's awfully good. Dennis Macklin. Dennis has been also on a major roll of late. In the last week, he's I think it's either number 2 or number 3 also at sports capping in the last week. And he's at our site, he's 17-8, and he has just been rolling them out one right after the other. He's been doing a great job on that. Kyle Hunter, a noted totals player. How noted? He's hit 65% of his last, I think, 150 college basketball totals. And right now at sports capping, he's number 3. Okay, and yours truly, NFL this season at Capper's Monitor, number 7. I won't put up all the fingers for that. I'll just tell you, I'm number 7. And then follow that up with in the NBA for win percentage. And by the way, that is win percentage. I want to qualify that. And win percentage in the NBA, I am number 2 at Capper's Monitor. So there's a lot of ways to win by becoming a VPID member. $99 is all it's going to cost you in order to do that. So give that a shot. Hey, now, let's get back to what we do here best of all, which is going over line moves and free picks. As I mentioned, our record is strong 50-37, and we got 2. I guess we're going to keep that theme, 2 in the NBA and 2 in college basketball. So let's get to all of them. Start off, Toronto and the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls of late, boy, 13-2 against the spread, have done a great job in our last 15 games, but yet hoops bettors are more impressed with how Toronto is playing. Toronto and taken the Raptors from -3.5 up to -5.5. Now the Raptors have won 14 out of 17, covering 10 of those, so that's been good. And you know, let's face it, they're the better team, right? So they have you have that going. But you know what? Chicago's played them twice this year, Toronto I'm referring to, and they've lost twice, but they covered both. In fact, speaking of covering, they're 8-1 recently against the Purple Dinosaurs, including being 4-0 straight up and against the spread on the south side of Chi-Town. When the Bulls are also in double revenge, 9-1 against the spread. I gotta go with the Bulls here, or should I say the Bulls here? I gotta go that direction. Next up, NBA also. New Orleans visits Utah. They were there 33 days ago, and when they played 33 days ago, the total was 204, and the Utah won 114-108 to crush the total is what they did on that one. So with that in mind, here we are. As I mentioned, 33 days later, they're playing again, and the total is skyrocketing, going from 208.5 all the way up to 212.5. That's a huge 4-point difference on the total rising. So bettors have been all over that. Both defenses, if you look at the numbers, they've been spotty lately. Not particularly good. Some good efforts, some pretty poor efforts, to be frank. New Orleans is 11-3 over as an underdog this season, so that would make sense. But here's how I'm looking at this game. I like the idea of that. So this is just going to be a potentially small play for me. Maybe not even at all, but we'll see. We'll see where the number lands. But the Jazz are 7-0 under, having lost 3 of their last 4 games. So I'm going to go with the Jazz, with a lean on the Jazz. I should say a lean on the under on this one because of the Jazz. And I will keep my fingers crossed that I'm right on this one. Okay, let's talk some college basketball. Go to the SEC, which is a very popular topic these days, the SEC, for some reason. I don't know why that keeps seeing that come up everywhere. Kentucky is going to be playing at LSU, and this is Kentucky's first official road game and first official SEC road game. And John Calipari, he's got his 5 freshmen. He said, hey, you know what? Let's bring it on. Because these guys, hey, they need to jump into this. They need to find out what this is all about. And you know what? I think they'll be just fine in terms of what they're going to do. Bettors have been a little less positive about it. They have taken the Wildcats from -4.5 down to -2.5 against LSU. I've watched both of these teams 3 times. I have to say, I don't feel comfortable in making a true selection about either team at this point. You just see stuff to where you just shake your head and say, this team is just not that good. But then you have other moments where you see, boy, these guys have potential. You can see where they can do some good things. So in this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit this one out for now at 2.5. I'm going to wait to see if I can catch a 3 with the Tigers. And why I would do that, or 3 or higher, the reason I would do that is because the LSU makes 4 more 3-pointers per game than Kentucky. Kentucky only makes 5 a game. So obviously their 3-point shooting, they'd love to have Devin Booker back when he played there, now with the Suns. But that's not the case. It's just not a good 3-point shooting team. I would rather go that way than the other. So I will lean with LSU. Finally, in A10 action, we got St. Bonaventure visiting Dayton. Now in this one, St. Bonaventure has gone from -4 to -1.5. The reason I would surmise the main reason for this is Dayton has a long history. I'm talking decades history of being an outstanding home team. Okay, this year's group, I'm not going to say that's going to be the case. Dayton's only 6-7 on the year. They only brought back one starting starter from a year ago. And they brought in Anthony Grant to take over their team. And Anthony Grant hasn't done much as a college basketball coach. He is not on my short list of favorite coaches. In fact, he's on the other one. Okay, I don't think Anthony Grant's a very good college coach at all. And I think this is part of Dayton's problem. It's not like Dayton hasn't had one returning starter over the last 20, 25 years and still ended up being successful. So I don't think he's a very good coach. St. Bonaventure's, I've seen him play twice. I think they're underrated in this case. So I think there's some good value here all the way down to 1/2. So it's only a bucket is what they got to win by, St. Bonaventure's. And I think that is entirely possible. I think this team's a little bit underrated. And when the Bonnies are on the road and they had just scored 85 or more points in their last game, 9-0 against the spread. Okay, so I like St. Bonaventure's of the 4 games here. I like them the best. Okay, on this one to go and get the job done. So hey, this is Doug Upstone. Happy New Year once again for Vegas Pro Insider Daily. Strongly consider becoming a VPID Inner Circle member. I gave you the numbers as to how good everyone is doing, plus a myriad of other. Myriad of other things that work, super systems, wise guy picks, all of those there. You can join in on the fun. start winning some money, get this new year off cranking, okay, with the cash. So as of right now, Doug Upstone is officially out.